ship, ancient daddy's rodeo.
Hey, welcome to Cowboy Shit. My name is Ted Stoven, and I have a special guest co-host from the truck. We're in Westlock, Alberta, in the UFA parking lot.
Yeehaw, doing the sales gig.
Yeah, Cassie Hausauer. Thanks for joining us this week, episode 192. This week we got a great guest on the show, Chris Cook,
Yeah, I'm
and not
excited.
and not Feature Productions Chris Cook. So, sorry, Chris. But this is a buddy of Dustin's that he had, and we'll get into the story later on, but had a lot of fun out there. With Chris, he brought him to one of the Drumheller Dragons, one to one of their playoff runs back in the day. So yeah, they've been friends since. But turns out he had a lot of connections that we knew too.
Of course, you guys know everybody.
Hardly. But Cassie, how's the traveling been so far? Have you been having fun driving me around?
Yeah, I love being Ted's chauffeur.
I'm currently in the driver's seat right now for probably about another 5 minutes.
Yeah, and then I'm back to driving again and hitting up my stops as well as Ted's.
Yeah, we're on a big Montana Silversmiths display case removal and retrieval and repositioning lately. But anyways,
Ted needed me for the muscle part.
yeah, I'm not very good at lifting stuff, but I like this part of the show. Anyways, Cass, you got anything for the top of the show?
Nothing.
No?
No. I went to a bull riding on the weekend.
Lakedale.
It was a lot of fun. It was packed. Good band. Bull
Yeah,
riding was fun.
that's fun, eh?
Yeah, it was great. I haven't been to a bull riding in a long time. So I very much enjoyed it.
Hey, you know what? It was another great day in barrel racer land for you yesterday.
Oh my gosh, I got to go barrel racing yesterday and yeah, it made me very happy. I had a lot of fun. It's been a while, so it felt good to get back out there and make a run.
And just for the record, she did win $95.
Full profit, of course.
Yeah, as our friend Kenny Fiddler would say.
Yeah.
All profit, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Ashlyn won $200 too, right?
Yeah.
Also,
I think she got second in the 1D and I was third in the 3D.
Yeah, not a big deal.
Not a big deal. Just a whole second and a half different.
What is the D system like? It's still good to win money though. Like
100%.
like you still won money. It's like
Yes.
me in golf. Like I can win I think I won the 8th division in a golf tournament, and I was like, yeah, I'm so good at golf. Like I won the AD.
That's all that matters. If you want to, there is a guide to barrel racer land for boyfriends on lipstick and cowboy boots,
Really?
where it does explain the D system. But do you want me to explain it now?
I know what the D system is. It's just like a tiering system essentially.
Yeah, you're just
It's
adding
like
on time.
adding time, and then it falls down another way. But like with the golf side of things, we were all in the 7th flight, but there's also like a championship flight, so I was technically in the 8th flight.
Gotcha.
But in that group, I won by like 13 shots, so I really beat all those old
Yeah,
guys that were twice my age.
Yeah, maybe you're sandbagging. You should have got bumped up.
No, I legitimately play golf.
Okay.
I try and shoot every shot all the time. For those that have golfed with me, I only shoot a little bit, okay? Everybody shoots a little bit though. It's golf.
It's true. It's golf.
Yeah. It's already fucking hard.
It is hard.
Yeah.
I'm excited for golf season though.
Yeah, it's almost that time. We're in the spring of deception right now in Alberta.
Yep.
I don't know what it's like where you are listening, folks, but appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for joining the show. We got new Cowboy Shit at cowboyshit.ca, cowboyshitofficial.com if you're in America.
Mm-hmm.
Ship it all out of Calgary still, sorry, but yeah, this is the truck setup today though. It's a little bit of a new thing. We got different microphones that we're testing out, so keeping the show going. We've got some fun stuff on the go. Had a fun conversation this morning. Probably shouldn't talk about it yet.
No.
That was a fun one.
That.
I don't know. There's lots of cool stuff on the horizon though. What do you got on the go? Want to tell us anything fun?
No, I got nothing, Todd. I'm just working. Just a working girl.
We
Nothing else.
were talking to Devin Rich's videographer of the show.
Yeah.
And we have an idea for some more what do we call it? Maybe the cowboy shit and lipstick and cowboy boots confessionals. Like we might have to do a show with Devin at some point. Because Devin is also part of Bell Racer Land.
Yes, she is.
So working on that. TBD.
TBD. Should we get to the interview?
Oh, really? You wanna I guess we gotta get back on the road. It's fine. Okay. Sure. Thanks to Dustin for lining this up. We had a lot of fun. Allie even made an appearance later on in the show when we were talking with Chris in her apartment. But yeah, thanks again to Chris for doing the show this week with us. And yeah, hope everybody's doing good out there in the spring of deception. Catch you on the flip side. Thanks for tuning in.
Happy trails.
All right, welcome to episode number 191, Cowboy Shit, the podcast. I'm Dustin Edwards, riding shotgun as always, Ted Stoven.
The guy on the right in this scenario.
On my
today.
left, your right.
Yeah.
We're back for another exciting episode of Cowboy Shit. Very special in-person episode today. We're live from downtown Calgary, the 19th floor overlooking Stampede Park
And the new arena.
and the new arena.
Pretty fancy place, Dustin.
It's a hole right now. Oh, the place or the arena?
This place, I like it.
Thank
I
you.
finally got the invite to do
Yep.
the show. This is awesome.
Yeah, we're 19th floor overlooking the
Not a big deal, 19th
casino.
floor.
No big deal. But we're live on the couch from the living room
Live recorded.
at Keynote One, and we got a very special guest today. A guy that I met a couple years ago through junior hockey, through some mutual friends and players, and has evolved into a fun friendship through sports and other shenanigans along the way. But we're happy to have him joining us today. He's a farmer, does a lot of farming. He's an adaptive athlete who participates in marathons, and not just any marathons, some of the biggest in the world. Motivational speaker, and probably one of the most entertaining guys on social media that I follow daily. And I'm sure we'll add many more things as the show goes on. A big welcome to the Cowboy Shit podcast, Chris Koch joining us today.
Finally happened. We talked about this a long time ago. So.
Yeah.
Here we
Did
are.
you? Never told me about this, Dustin. We would have made this happen a long time ago.
Well, we've been, I knew Chris had to be on the show at some point. So here we are. We finally made it work. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for skateboarding your way over here. If you would have told us, we would have given you a ride at least.
If
feel
you would have
bad.
picked some nicer weather, that would have been cool too. But
So Chris is living in Kelowna for the majority of the winters. That's kind of because there's no snow there, but you did get some snow already. So.
yeah, we had a snow a couple days ago, little like 3 or 4
skiff.
inches.
A
But
skiff.
But that's a lot for Kelowna, right? Like to get a
yeah, I mean for down in the city, yeah. But generally it melts in a couple days, so I mean it should be pretty much melted away today. I left early this morning, but yeah, it should almost be all gone by the end of today.
Awesome. So I think we might as well get right to it, Chris. A lot of people on here will probably have heard your name. It's amazing how, if I bring your name up with people, rural, city, it seems at some point someone said, oh, I've seen him on social. I've listened to him speak. I mean, you've been traveling around now. For how many years have you been doing presentations and speaking?
It's been a solid 15 years. I always have to think about that because I spoke at a kind of high school grad in a couple schools up in Edson. And one of the girls that was graduating was originally from Nanton, and she did the introduction. She's like, I remember when I was in grade 1, I heard Chris speak, and I was like, oh, shit. I've been doing this for a long time. I was thinking 8 or 10 years. I mean, no, we've got to bump that up to about 15 years. But, yeah, full-time gig, 10-plus years. And, no, probably closer to 15 now. And farming on the side. Kind of, if I'm not farming, I want to be doing presentations. If I'm not doing presentations, I want to be farming.
And I guess let's, talk about, so it's if I can is what I seen you present on to our hockey team and backing up. That's how we met. You came and presented to the Drumheller Dragons junior team. Coy Piggin was playing, which was a family friend of yours.
Yep.
And you came out on a playoff run, and then you stuck around for a bunch of the games, came back and watched some more. But your presentation was awesome, but it kind of speaks to the situation that you were born with, no arms, no legs.
Yeah.
So maybe kind of talk about the journey that kind of got you to that space of being a motivational speaker.
Yeah, it was actually something that I hesitated in doing at first. I mean, I was always asked to speak at local schools and local events when I was younger, and the answer was always yes, I'll squeeze it in, but it was never anything that I pursued as a full-time gig. And then, say, 15-ish years ago, kind of dawned on me that it's a great opportunity to travel to get to where you're speaking, and travel so you have more to speak about. And so when I decided to jump in and do this full-time and pursue it as a full-time gig, I thought I was going to be talking a lot about my travels. I'd just finished backpacking through Europe for 3 months, and then everybody wants to hear the farming. They want to hear about the farming. They're fascinated that I can run tractors and combines. And I'm like, a trained monkey can run those damn things. Like, they are so easy to run. I mean, they're big, and yeah, for somebody who's not familiar with the equipment, it is, I guess it could be intimidating. But I mean,
It is,
literally,
they're huge.
what's
I
that?
don't know what all those buttons do.
Yeah, well, when you get into a fence, that's when it gets intimidating. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's that's just kind of how it started, and it's just there was a video that my buddy of mine did on his farm down in Southern California that ended up on the Oprah Winfrey Network, and then my speaking career went from busier and busier and busier to incredibly busy.
Thanks, Oprah.
Thanks, Oprah. Yeah.
Did you get to meet her?
No, I did not get to meet her. It's kind of funny. So my buddy John, I don't know if you've seen or familiar with the documentary "The Biggest Little Farm," and it's on Netflix. And so he's an Emmy-winning, an Emmy award-winning filmmaker, and so he's done a bunch of short documentaries on the farm. There was one about a pig named Emma that he won an Emmy for. Sorry, another one about a cow named Maggie that he won an Emmy for, and then mine didn't win a damn thing. So I know where I fit in the grand scheme of things.
They love the pigs. They love the
yeah,
cows, but
yeah.
not
Chris
so
Cook,
much.
nah, not so much.
We'll pass on them. But I think it's fascinating. Like, I mean, we'll touch more on the farming and the egg stuff, but let's go back to that. You're an Alberta guy. You grew up in the rural part of Alberta, and
You forgot the town that I grew up in, didn't you?
No, Nanton. I was gonna say, you grew up. We were just chatting about all the mutual friends and rodeo people and egg stuff. So it's very much been a part of your life, kind of since day one. I know your brother ranches and your nephews are in wild horse racing and on the rodeo circuit here a bit now. So it's very much been a big part of your life.
Yeah, no, ag's been part of my life since as long as I can remember. Some of my earliest memories as a kid, riding around on tractors and combines with my grandpa and uncles and dad, and I farming and then around cattle. My brothers, and it's funny. I had my nephews and niece, the three older ones, up in the city here, and a friend of mine was making small talk with my niece Isabel, and she said, "So you guys farm?" And Isabel was like, "We ranch." She's very, very specific.
Very
We're not
specific
farmers.
on
We
yeah.
ranch. So yeah, I do farm, but my brother runs cattle, works horses. My dad, trains horses and works them, and yeah, all my cousins. Yeah, my brother used to ride bulls back in the day. He was the best 7-second bull rider you ever saw.
Heard of them.
And then, of course, Ty Streeter, Chad Best Plug, all Ian McKay. We were talking about him earlier. So yeah, a lot of those guys in the rodeo world. And I actually used to announce team ropings.
Really?
Long time. Those are long days.
At Claresholm,
Yeah.
probably.
Nanton. There's Nanton and Claresholm.
Yeah.
Uh,
Nanton Night Rodeo, probably, I guess.
no, Joe Sears. Joe Sears has she
Mike
has that
and
one.
Joe, right? Like they got
Mike
their
and Joe.
place?
So yeah, that's who I farmed with for a long time.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so yeah, Joe announces. I'm not going to dare try and take Nat Night from her, but
Nope.
yeah, a bunch of team ropings. So
I need
Yeah.
to get you on the trail, maybe as a guest announcer.
Well, I
Co-announcer.
think if they're down at the bottom of the barrel for rodeo announcers and Brett Gardner and you can't do it, then maybe I could step
You're
in.
next in line. So I'm curious to know about when you were growing up, when you were younger. So you were born with no arms, no legs. So this wasn't a farming accident. Do people, when you're talking about farming and how much you farm, do they instantly wonder if it was a farming accident? Has that come up quite a bit?
Yeah, especially on a lot of the farming videos that I've put on there, like, what the hell is he doing back on the combine? Because clearly it didn't go very well the last time. And I mean, it's also fun to make up excuses or reasons why I was born like this. It was before a Core Blend concert in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I was having, it was kind of beer hall seating, and I was sitting with these two girls having a beer, and the one girl goes, "So I'm a nurse, and the reason why you're born like that was because of a medication your mom took?" And I said, "You're thinking of thalidomide." I said, "No, that was before my time." I said, "Actually, my mom and dad are both adopted." And so after I was born missing arms and legs, they're trying to figure out why, and blood tests and doing everything they can to find out. And when they got the blood test results back, they found out that they're actually brother and sister. And the awkward silence that followed for those two girls probably felt like an eternity. I was able to keep my shit together for about 10 or 15 seconds. Like, there's no real known reason why I was born like this. So that humor was a little too dark for them. We didn't have a second beer together, but yeah.
Oh, dear.
No, there is the assumption, farm action, especially when I speak at a lot of farming related, ag related conferences and stuff like that. But yeah, no, this was gone right from the get go.
So what? So when you were younger and kind of growing up in the rural lifestyle, did you just kind of go all in and just try and do it all and keep up with everybody and able to keep your love for ag and farming alive? I guess essentially, right? You had to get enabled by the people around you to learn it all, right?
No, absolutely, and that's part of the blue collar farming ag mindset is, if something's not working for you, figure out a way to make it better. You can piss and moan all you want, but that's not going to change anything. So just get going. And I mean, my grandma's reaction, she set the tone. The day I was born, her reaction when she found out that I was born missing arms and legs was to say that my dad never finished anything he started. And that was perfect. It wasn't, this, oh my goodness, this is horrible. What are we going to do? I was all right. It is what it is. And yeah, I'd never really, my parents, the whole family never really treated me as, this poor disabled boy or handicapped boy or whatever. I was just Chris. And so, whether it was playing sports or farming or whatever, it was just get in and just do. And I was never held back. Oh, that might be dangerous, or that might not be able to do that. It was okay. Well, let's figure out a way to get her done. Let's figure out a way to make it happen. And so it's kind of funny. My brother will say that, he'll talk to people and they'll say to my brother, "Oh, it's so cool that that your brother can run tractors and combines and lawnmowers, skid steer, and all that kind of stuff." And he's like, "Well, we don't really think about it. It's always been that way. It's just kind of a second nature thing." So, and that's the way it should be. As soon as you start making it a big deal with anything, I mean, there's, if you baby and coddle your kid with all four limbs, you can turn him her into a softie real quick.
Well, that's one thing I was telling Ted earlier, or maybe it was yesterday, about. I know the first time I met you, I wasn't sure, getting around and doing what you do, and stay out of this guy's way. You just go about your business, and when you live and the way you set yourself up, and I've seen you post videos on, how you do things in a hotel room and do whatever, but.
Those videos are not on. Those are on certain sites.
Oh, okay, certain sites. Okay, so how you get ironing boards down? Yeah.
Is that where Devin's?
But you never. I guess what I'm trying to say is you've never tried to change anything to adapt to your situation, the way you live in your home, everything's just normal, right?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure. When I was coming to Drumheller to do those presentations, one of the first questions was, was I going to need an accessible room? And I was like, nah. If I can adapt to, the world around me, all of a sudden, the world is accessible. And a lot of that kind of stuff, it's made for people with, that are in a wheelchair. And I've got it figured out just as is. And yeah, you wander into my house. Yeah, it's not like you're going to walk in there and be like, clearly there's a person with a disability living in here. I think if there's a step stool that I have and it's in the back laundry room, that's basically the only thing.
But I could have brought a fucking mic stand though. I could have thought a little bit in my head to try and help you out. But then I see this and I'm like, you don't
what I should have done. I should have messed with you. Like, well. Usually we just duct tape it around my forehead and then it hangs down.
We could have made a little contraption or something with it hanging off his head.
Just to make me feel bad. Just come on, Ted. Think ahead a little bit.
Can we do this over again?
But I want to touch on that because you're, I'll admit, getting to know you over the last couple of years, you're a funny guy. And I mean, just naturally, you're funny. But you don't mind, and you talked about that joke that you had shared with those people about your parents being brother and sister, but you find a way to find humor in situations at times.
For sure.
And I've heard you tell numerous stories with hilarious jokes about it. But, you know, that's obviously got to be an important part of just kind of breaking the ice and tension with different people, hey?
Well, I think humor is huge for anybody, but for me, yeah, it gets you through frustrating days. It's a great icebreaker. When people first meet me, they're not too sure how to react, how to respond. So if I can crack a joke right from the get-go, it puts them at ease. They realize I'm just a regular dude, enjoying life, having fun, and I love messing with people. I mean, my family, nothing is off limits. And I mean, I was AMI was filming a short documentary on me, and they were following my brother Bob and I around out on the side by side out in the hills. And he said, just go through normal banter back and forth. I'm like, there's absolutely nothing that you'll be able to use if you go with our regular banter. But yeah, it's just fun messing with people too. Like sometimes the jokes are just for me. I had a taxi driver asked me, you know, why I was missing arms and legs. I said, I used to be a taxi driver who asked too many questions. So, you know, and he didn't get it at all. And I was laughing my ass off in the back of the taxi. That was for me.
Rose, I seen, did you post about sitting in an airplane asking for more leg room once? Wasn't that something
That is a go-to. That is a go-to. Somebody from the airline will ask if I need a seat close to the front of the plane or if I need help getting on there. I'm like, I really don't care where I sit. As long as there's lots of leg room, I'm happy. And is he messing with us? Is he serious?
But didn't you work in the airline industry? Do I remember that correctly?
I used to work for WestJet for a couple of years. So, and that was right before I decided to pursue the speaking thing. I was on the days that I wasn't at the airport, I was down helping Mike and Joe. Seriously.
Oh, really?
And yeah. Well, when I was working full time for them one spring, my brother. So I don't know if the camera could see, but I have a backwards facing foot, and my brother and I were at a branding, and well, you know what happens at a branding.
Drinking.
Yeah.
Testicles.
So at the end of the branding, we're leaving a friend's house, and it had rained. So Bob's like, "Just jump on my back. I'll give you a piggyback out to the truck, so you have to hop through the wet grass." So I get on his back at the top of a set of stairs. He stands up, goes to walk down the stairs, catches his
hit the head.
spur on the top step.
Oh.
We both pile down the stairs, and of course land on the ground, and I've hurt my foot. I don't know if I've sprained it or twisted my ankle or whatever. And my dad's like, you landed on your head. Your foot should be fine. I'm like, well, I didn't land on my head because my head doesn't hurt. My foot hurt. So somebody please take me to the High River Hospital because this isn't just a little boo-boo. So anyways, finally get to the High River Hospital, and the x-ray tech isn't there. So they give me some painkillers, spend the night. The next morning, there's a new nurse on staff. And she comes in. She goes, so I understand you think you twisted your ankle or sprained your foot. I said, yeah. She goes, well, do you mind if I take a look? I said, yeah, not a problem. She peels the blanket off. She's like, oh, my God. I said, no. I said, it was pointing that direction before. I said, it's just really sore now. And, yeah. So get the x-ray, and sure enough, it's broken. Doctor's like, I have no idea how the hell to cast that thing. So just made a little splinter and tensored it every morning. And my brother went and got vet wrap, and he got pink and purple vet wrap, and that was my life.
Oh, man.
So yeah, I was able to farm though, so I couldn't work. I couldn't put my artificial legs on and work at the airport. So you just give me a lift up into the tractor, and I'd farm all day long.
Because once you get like some of the auto steer stuff and things going, like would that be a thing at?
Yeah, the newer even
some of that stuff is all
even
GPS,
without auto
right?
steer, the newer hydrostatic transmissions.
Yeah, it's easy.
There's the odd tractor you might need a 2x4 or something like that to pop the clutch to get her into gear.
Yeah,
But everything else, literally
not bad.
climbing up the ladder. I mean, obviously, without a broken foot, I can climb up the ladder no problem.
Yeah.
Once I'm in there, I'm good to go. Nothing.
And then what do you do when you're farming then? Like, are you listening to audiobooks, talking on the phone, or doing your like?
Well, I'm
recording
just
content
inside my own twisted, demented. Some of my best jokes I've come up with
while you're farming.
I have the radio. I don't listen to audiobooks or podcasts. I think podcasts are the biggest waste of time, to be perfectly. No, I'm kidding.
That's what I think sometimes. Too.
Yeah, I should. I should listen to podcasts.
I should too, maybe.
But yeah, I mean, there's always radio chatter and stuff like that. And my grandpa was he was a Nazi about no radio. You gotta be able to listen to what the combine's doing and pay attention. And I used to just crank the tunes when I was younger.
Yeah.
And now, like, yeah, you know what? If I break down, I can't exactly go in there and fix it myself. I got to get some help. So, you know, I turned into my grandpa.
Yeah.
Got to be able to hear the machine.
Hearing everything.
Listening to the.
I mean, when you put a rock through the feeder head, it doesn't matter if the radio's
you can still
full
hear it.
blast. You know,
Oh, yeah.
it's or the feeder head, feeder house. Sorry, but yeah, you know what's happened. But
You and just from what I've seen on social, you were working for some pretty big outfits. Like you were taking off a lot of crop the last couple of years, hey? So
yeah. Mike and Joe at their peak were about 20,000 acres between what they had in Nanton and out in Saskatchewan, and I've been farming for Lowe's, and they've got about 10,000 around Nanton, Vulcan, and another 10,000 down on the Kainai Reserve around Glenwood and Cardston.
So are you you're a combine guy? Is that what is that your weapon of choice when you're farming?
Yeah, I've done a little bit on the grain cart. I haven't done grain cart for Lowe's. I did a little bit on the grain cart when I was with Sears, but primarily on the combine. And then when we're seeding, actually out in Saskatchewan, I spent the majority of the time on the sprayer rollers if we're doing peas and stuff like that. And the corn planter too.
Oh,
We did sunflowers one year. So
Well, you went south to the States and have worked on some farms.
yeah,
too,
I've
right?
helped out on a few farms down the south. So I've run a cotton picker in South Carolina, peanut harvester. Got a buddy down in Georgia, and Tennell, Georgia, middle Georgia. So Hazard County is a fictitious county, but if it was real, it would be where
be
my
there.
buddy's at in Tennell, Georgia.
That's cool.
Is that where they run
Yeah,
the
they're
hooch?
awesome. I honestly,
Dukes
if
of
I was
Hazzard.
to move down to the States and farm, I'd do it down in Georgia.
That's
I love
really-
it down there. They're great.
So, I guess what made you so what got you so excited about farming? Like, you love doing it, and I remember when you presented, like you had a whole piece on being Chris the farmer, and like, so what is it about it that you love so much? Because I know, for a lot of people listening, it's a lifestyle. But what is it for you that you love? Just the lifestyle. What is it?
I mean, everything about it. Obviously, yeah, it is a lifestyle, and I've you do presentations in the city, high schools and stuff like that, and you explain to them like it's not just a job or a career; it's a way of life. It's part of who you are. And like I said, my grandpa loved farming, and I loved going and hanging out with my grandpa, and so that's big part where the passion came from. It's also a nice balance. You go from being on the road, in hotels, at airports, speaking in front of hundreds, sometimes thousands of people, to wide open, prairie, or if you're in the foothills down west of Cardston and looking out over the mountains, running the combine. It's just you're working longer hours, but it's refreshing, it's recharging. And also, it's a job people don't expect a guy without arms and legs to be doing. And I do love, setting that standard and hopefully encouraging people to, raise the bar in their own life a little bit higher too.
What was the? I got two things that are on my mind right now. I'm wondering what your mental health, like what it's like for you different times when you're going through these different things, and how you keep such a positive attitude when you could look and be like, oh, like this, I wonder what the peaks and valleys are like for you, because I'm sure you have them too, just like everybody else. I'm sure you have the times.
Yeah, no, not every day is going to be sunshine and roses. You're going to have rough patches and funks, and I am lucky. I'm an inherently positive person, an inherently happy person. When I wake up, I'm happy to be alive, and looking forward to getting out there and living the day. But there are ruts, and honestly, mine aren't any different than any other person's. It's the same shit that happens between the ears. And I might want to make it about the fact that I'm missing arms and legs. And yeah, there are some day-to-day challenges that are a little bit harder because I'm missing arms and legs, but it's it's not the like I just got this stupid tube in my ear today, and I said to the doctor, I said I have no arms and no legs, and I said the biggest grief I'm given is my damn ear. So yeah. It's mindset, and I mean we want to, and when anybody's having a rough patch or a bad day, you want to blame someone or something, and usually it's someone or something that you can't change or you can't control. So my easy scapegoat is the fact that I'm missing arms and legs. Oh, it'd be so much harder, so much easier if I had arms and legs. No. Well, first of all, I don't know that. I have no frame of reference. So it's just an assumption. I mean, somebody who's lost a limb or limbs, they can look back and be like, I remember when it was a hell of a lot easier when I had my arm or had my legs. I don't have that frame of reference. So I'm just making shit up in my head thinking it would be easier when in the end, it doesn't matter. I don't have arms and legs. I'm never going to have arms and legs. So why worry about that? Concentrate on the positives. This job, traveling around doing presentations, farming, family, incredible friends, the opportunities and places I've got to see. Life's pretty damn good.
Well, and so what are some of your other positive outside influences, whether it be reading different books or if it's a mentor somewhere along the way? Like obviously your family was nothing but positive and they still are. But I'm wondering what some of those other influences might be. I'm curious there, people you've met along the way.
Yeah.
I'm wondering about that now.
Well, several. I mean, this job, I do a presentation and I get chat with people afterwards and start hearing their stories and you're blown away by what other people are doing. So there's been so many people I've had the opportunity to meet that, have had a profound effect on me. The War Amps Child Amputee Program or CHAMP program, they were instrumental in my life. And
the man in charge of that, I read about him too.
Cliff Chatterton.
Yeah.
He lost his leg in Belgium in the Second World War after D-Day. I think he was about 26. And after he lost his leg, he came back and basically dedicated his life to making the lives of others, mainly war veterans who had lost limbs. And then starting in 1975, started the CHAMP program and making the lives of child amputees better. And so that's pretty good. That's a pretty good role model to look up to.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then there was Carl Hilsinger. He lost his legs in a car accident. He was professional football in the CFL. Professional football player in the CFL. Played for the Montreal Alouettes. He was also a ski instructor, and he was driving down from Mont Tremblant, just outside of Montreal, and got in a car wreck and hit power lines, hit power pole. Power lines fell down and lost both his legs. And he had a saying, "It's what's left that counts." Yeah, he lost his legs and his football career and everything. That part of his life was over and life changed drastically. But he always said, with a good head on your shoulders, huge heart, and endless determination, there's really not much that'll stop you. And that's the biggest obstacle in my life, the biggest obstacle in your lives, our lives, is us. We're the ones that throw the wrench into the spokes. It's just easy to blame others.
Yeah. It's funny. I remember, obviously met you. I sat in your presentation with the Dragons right before playoffs. And I remember being able to see the stuff you spoke about be talked amongst the guys and how impactful it was. It was, I think you presented for 15 minutes in the dressing room and then you spent some time around the guys. You got to know them all personally. But I remember when we got in a tough playoff run against Blackfalds, how often the things you talked about and some of the scenarios were referenced in that. And to see your story be in action was now you're that inspiration to those group of guys, and they'll always talk about that when they play sports. For me, it was really powerful to see it kind of come full circle, if that makes sense, which was really cool. Because oftentimes, you hear people speak, you read something, and you don't always see the direct impact or results or where it goes. But I thought it was really cool in that over that month to see how the guys reacted to it and having you around. And one thing about Chris, which is really cool, was you didn't just come and speak and take off. You hung out with the guys. You went to practices. You went on the bus even for a game, didn't you, at some point? Or we traveled to some road games together.
Yeah, well, you and I went to Blackfalds.
Yeah.
And then I think took the bus went out for pregame dinner and then to the game from the hotel, and and yeah, I mean, I love sports, so to hang out with the team, that that was something I wanted to make sure I do. But I also any presentation I do, whether it's speaking at a school or speaking for John Deere or Microsoft or Google, I'm not a big fan of just going in there doing my presentation and then peacing out right afterwards. I go, I hang out, spend the whole day, or if it's a multi-day conference, hang out for the whole thing, do the farm tours if it's an ag conference, all that kind of stuff. For several reasons, I love people, so that's one of the reasons why I love this job so much. Is you get to meet some people, and you get a pretty good pulse for the room you're going to be speaking to. Especially if I'm the closing speaker, I have that day or 2 or 3 days to come up with material to really tailor that presentation specifically to them. Or if I'm the opening speaker and I stick around for a couple days afterwards, well, then they have a good opportunity to ask me all the questions. I get a chance to hang out and get to know the people that I presented to earlier that day or the day before or whatever. And it just seems disingenuous to go in and do my presentation then peace out afterwards. And I've met some great friends. Those boys down in Georgia that I've gone and hung out with. I met them at an American Farm Bureau in Pittsburgh, and we hung out afterwards. And then they had me speak at Georgia Farm Bureau, and just that kind of stuff too. And that's not what drives. That's not the driving force or the impetus behind sticking around for the whole thing to generate more work. But it is also a byproduct of doing that too.
And I guess that's why I wanted to bring up that story. I thought it was so cool that, you were committed beyond just presenting to people, which I think is super cool. I wanted to go back to, you were talking about the War Amps. And if I remember correctly in your presentation, when you were younger, you did have prosthetic legs and arms.
No,
There was
just
some
legs?
arm you were golfing with, though.
yeah,
I saw a picture of.
so I had a golf arm, and I mean I hate prosthetics. They're heavy, they're awkward, cumbersome. The golf arm that I used, literally, it would go on for the time it took me to take the shot. As soon as I made my shot, usually I wouldn't have the arm off for very long. 'Cause
So you weren't a great golfer?
chunked it and just had to walk 30 feet up for my fourth layup shot. But artificial legs, I used to wear them, my getaway sticks, and I got going on the longboard about 15 years ago, and that's just way better. I mean, obviously, it's not ideal in the snow, but still weighing out the pros and cons between, electric scooter, wheelchair, prosthetics, and the board. That board comes out way ahead.
So you just said F the prosthetics and went right boarding, and that was it? Once you...
Literally, I was down in Florida, got a longboard from the Ron John Surf Shop in Fort Lauderdale, just for fun. Day on the board, I was like, this is way better than legs. I put my legs on one more time to get back home to Canada. As soon as I got home, threw them in the closet, and never saw them again.
Have you met anyone else that's in a similar situation that does the same thing?
Yeah, there's a few other people that I've met that are, doing presentation, and then I've, through the War Amps, doing various stuff. But yeah, there's a whole club of us.
Yeah.
I remember I was in Australia and ran into a physiotherapist for a guy that who was working with a guy who lost both arms, both legs, meningitis.
Holy shit.
And she arranged for me to meet him, and that's pretty cool to, I guess, that I can be somebody who can, simply by just hanging out with somebody who's lost limbs or is missing limbs and help them out. So I had a lot of really good mentors and people that I looked up to and helped me out through the War Amps. So to be able to do that, there's a little kid in Chicago. He's 4 years old now. He's like a mirror image of me. And I'll be seeing his family here in a couple weeks. I'm flying down to Muskegon, Michigan. So I'll just take the train from Grand Rapids down to Chicago and spend the day with them. And, I'm kind of honorary Uncle Chris. So to have those opportunities is pretty cool.
That's cool. we talk a lot about sports on this podcast, even though we're cowboy shit. And you're a huge sports guy. Talk about your love of sports and where that all came from. I'm sure probably, what is it, the Palominos? Is that the teams in Nanton?
Yeah, nice. Nice.
The Nanton Pals. What was, you said you played some golf. So talk about your love of sports. And I know you've got to speak for some really cool sports groups and you've met a lot of professional athletes along the way. So let's talk about your sports journey a little bit.
Yeah, my mom and dad are both pretty good athletes, so they were always playing, hockey and baseball and golfing and skiing and all that kind of jazz. So I grew up in that kind of surroundings, that kind of home. And then I've just always loved sports. Always been a Flames fan. And when everybody got a little bit older, a little bit faster, and a little bit better, when I was playing sports as a kid, I moved more into coaching or announcing and stuff like that. And to be able to present to a team like the Dragons is kind of my way to stay involved and help. Actually, it would have been ideal if the Dragons would have went all the way. That would have just been. So obviously my presentation wasn't that good. But no, I just love sports and to be involved in any shape, way, or form. And doing presentations has been one of them. So I've done some stuff with the New York Mets, Florida Gators football team. Alpha Hockey is the agency that represents Connor Hellebuck and a bunch of other guys, Eddie Lack and Laurent Brossois. And so I did a presentation for them, and actually that's pretty cool. Just when you're on a plane or on a bus or whatever, just chatting up with people, and you never know who you're sitting next to. Was on a plane, guy sitting next to me, we get BSing, and asked me what I do. I said, I'm a motivational speaker. He goes, have you done some stuff for sports teams? I said, a little bit. And he goes, would you ever want to do something with some professional hockey players? I'm like, that's bucket list presentation right there. And he goes, I run Alpha Hockey, and we do a camp every summer out in Kelowna. Love to have you come speak at that. So I said, it's funny, at the end of the flight, I said, it's a pleasure to meet you, and got your number, we'll be in touch, and once you talk to your people and decide if you guys want to move forward with this thing this summer, let me know. He's like, no, I am the people we talk to. He goes, you're doing it this summer. I was like, yes.
You're hired. Tell me what it is.
Yeah.
If I would have known that, I would have given him a higher number.
You went out, you were Vernon Vipers. You jumped on their bandwagon after Drum got eliminated. No, I'm just joking.
Simultaneously,
It
and
was
the fact that the Vernon Vipers were in the BCHL, and there was no chance that the Drum Dragons and the Vernon Vipers would be playing one another, I opted to go.
I had to razz him about that.
Yeah.
Though. I was like, geez, you're a bit of a
I had
two-timer.
another AJHL team approach me, and I said I just don't feel right. I said I'd love to, and my message is about being good people off the ice too, but I said and just wouldn't feel right. So
Well, we appreciated it.
yeah. When all the guys that are in the dressing room age out, then I'll
yeah,
think
exactly.
about it.
Yeah, I think they're pretty much all gone. This will be the last year for that group of
Yeah,
guys, right?
I don't think there'll be anybody left
No,
on that
that'll
team
be it.
from when I spoke.
I think Tate Ewell's the last guy left.
Yeah.
on the
Captain
Ewell Ranch.
Tate,
That's right.
El Capitan.
Yeah.
What are the biggest takeaways in the sports teams? What are guys telling you like this really meant a lot to me? What's that piece that they're taking away?
Well, I guess there's
Or
a
the
whole-
gals? Sorry, I can't.
Yeah.
I gotta
No,
say
I've
either
done
one.
some presentations for some for ladies teams. Ladies soccer team down in Florida when I spoke to the Gators football team. I forgot them. Yeah. Well, the biggest one is the whole, 90% mental, 10% physical, but also I try not to do it in a way of, guilting them into it, but I've urged them not to waste the opportunity that they have. I would love to be able to play sports at a high level. And, I've never, do you want to pause or?
I think he's got to go to the Wiz Palace.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm good. We can keep rolling.
Number 1 or number 2? I just want to know how long I should stretch this answer out for.
I'll come up with another one while we're talking. I think I asked the question anyways. What people are taking away in the sports presentations.
I try not to, make it sound like I'm guilty. And I'm like, you have arms and legs, so don't piss this opportunity away. But, just you have this opportunity, make the most of it, and take it as far as you can. And exploit hockey or football or soccer or baseball or whatever the sport is. Use it as an opportunity to get an education, go play around the world and stuff like that. Because not everybody has that opportunity, and there'll be a day. And you talk to a lot of guys, when they
I don't think he washed his hands.
didn't. Yeah, I won't be touching that
You
microphone.
need to sanitize that thing.
I was trying to be fast.
Burn it.
I didn't even shake it. We can edit that.
I was gonna. No.
This is cowboy shit. Yeah.
Dustin just
You
took
guys
a
were-
cowboy shit over.
You guys
there.
were probably busting my balls while I was gone, anyways.
only a
Nope.
couple times.
No,
Okay.
we would never do that.
Sorry,
Yeah.
now we're distracted though.
No, just make the most of the opportunity that you have.
Yeah.
You get a lot of guys who, I wish I would have done this, and that's one of my biggest things that I talk about in all my presentations. I tell people I'm way more afraid of regret than failure. I don't want to look
true,
back
eh?
saying, "Oh, I wish I would have done this," or "What if I would have tried that?" Get out there and make the most of life, regardless.
Is there a bucket list for you for doing presentations or speaking, or where that journey continues to go for you?
Yeah, I mean, to speak to I did some stuff with the Mets minor league system at spring training, but I mean to get the New York Mets, like the big team, or the Calgary Flames, or like that would just be
Like the pro,
And-
like a pro sports,
and not just do a presentation, but have them go and achieve success, ideally in the season that I presented to them. Have do a presentation for the Flames and they go all the way to the finals, or the Mets, or I mean any team. But I love sports.
you could work in sports because that's all of our dream is to be part of a season in an impactful way that leads to a championship. I guess if you love sports and work in sports, that's what we all want to do.
Absolutely, and I did a presentation. Well, it was pretty cool. The Minot Beavers hockey team. There's a kid from Nanton,
Great name.
Davis.
Oh yeah, Davis. Yeah, Davis worked with us at
Davis
the Flames.
Sheldon.
Yeah,
He'd been.
he was a captain there, wasn't he?
He was the
Is
captain.
that the team that had the
overalls?
farm jerseys that they were
Yeah.
overalls?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
the
was
overalls. They
fucking
just were out this
awesome.
last week.
Yeah. They just that
Preston
was a couple
played
weeks
there.
ago.
Preston
Yeah.
Sear, former co-host.
But
of
you
the
went and
show. Sorry.
you went and presented to
Yeah,
them, right?
did a presentation for them. I was at their very last regular season home game, and I said just a quick little thing in the dressing room before the game and announced the
Starting lineup.
starting lineup. And I said, so you boys are ranked number 1 going into the national finals. And I said, I'm going down to do some stuff with the Mets. But I said, when I'm done, we'll be around the same time that you guys will be down to the Final Four. I said, if you guys make the Final Four, I said, I'll come to Boston. I'll come watch you. And they won it all. And so that was pretty cool.
Did you get to see them win it?
Yeah, that was awesome.
That's
It was
cool.
absolutely awesome. And then Reinhardt Eagles, the college baseball team down in Georgia, another kid from Nanton playing for them, did a presentation for the whole team, and then went and watched them. And they lost bottom of the 11th in the semifinal game of the College World Series down there. And it was so close, but and those are I don't want to, especially with the sports team, but I don't want to just do a presentation. Like, all right, good luck, see you later. I want to go and support them. And
part of it all.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, we'll have to chat with OB or Kelso or somebody, and we'll have to get
Work on the Flames.
work
part
on the
of it.
Flames, bit.
What's been the feedback though from these teams so far? Like where is it? Where are you at with that? Because to me, I think you could be a coach to folks. There's just so many things.
Well, you
so many
should sit
things
with them
out
and
there.
watch a hockey game.
I
You're
bet.
like you know hockey, like you know the game, and
But
Yeah.
I mean like a motivational coach too, though. Like
Oh,
you could
totally.
be,
Yeah,
you do
no,
that
and
stuff all the time. I think
that would be awesome. And I guess my biggest thing is I want to be leading by example, not just talking a big talk. So
you are leading by example.
going, doing these marathons and stuff like that, and making sure I'm keeping my ass in shape and striving for more. But there's a lot of the guys and a lot of the teams that I still keep in touch with. There's one of the guys, Jace Beck. He's like 6'7", pitcher from Oklahoma. Was just texting him the other day as he was driving from Oklahoma back to Florida for spring training, and just the fact that they're keeping in touch, and I see a lot of them pop up on my feed, liking my stuff and messaging me, and congratulations and stuff like that. That's pretty cool. So, I love. I think the fact that I didn't just go and do my presentation and be like, all right, see you guys later, good luck. I stuck around. I went the extra mile. I went to their, Little League World Series or the college World Series or the national championships out in Boston. I think that goes a long way, and because I care, I do. I genuinely want people to listen to my presentation and get out there and do epic shit.
Yeah, you have was there a connection with which NHL player? Ridley Gregg?
Yeah,
Is that who you bump into? You went and seen him a couple times. I seen some stuff on social, right?
Yeah, so Ridley's dad, Mark, is from Nanton, and I'm good friends with a couple of his cousins. His aunt just had me do a presentation for a group row, like a competitive rowing, and then his sister is in the PWHL, and they're doing a women's hockey camp, and they're looking at maybe having me speak at that. So yeah, it's been to be able to, especially support people from Nanton, people from my hometown. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I've caught Ridley down in this season down in Buffalo, and then last season down in Detroit. And Nanton's been pretty supportive of me. So if I can reciprocate that support, I mean, technically Rid's not a Nanton boy. He's born and raised in Lethbridge, but close enough.
He played for the Hurricanes in the Western League, right?
No, he played
was
for
it-
the Brandon Wheat Kings.
Was that Brandon Wheat Kings, right?
And actually
he
caught
played
up
in the
with
World
Rid
Juniors
when he was
too,
still
right?
with the Wheat Kings too.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, you were talking about accountability, working out, doing the marathons. We haven't really touched on that yet. You did the New York City Marathon.
Did the New York Marathon this fall. That one was incredible.
How many people? How many people in that one?
Oh,
Competitors or participants or what do you call
it was the largest marathon ever. I think like 55,000.
Holy.
And there's it starts in Staten Island. So it goes through all the 5 boroughs. Starts in Staten Island, and you immediately go up over the Verrazano Bridge. And there's like famous photos of that marathon of like just thousands and thousands of people on the Verrazano Bridge. And I'm like, my God, I'll get absolutely trampled in that. But yeah,
You'd want to have space though.
I went that one. That was the first marathon that I didn't go at the very end, because I mean, there's 55,000 runners. They're sending people, like their start line is sending people for like 5 hours or some damn thing.
I bet or longer.
But I actually went out with the wheelchair division, and I was up ahead of the elite runners and stuff like that. And it was about mile 8 or 9 when the elite runners were starting to pass me, and then about 12 or 13 is when it started to get
12 or 13 hours?
no miles.
Miles. Oh, sorry. Yeah,
12 or
because it's
13.
26 miles.
It's 26.2, yeah, and that's when it started to get quite a bit crowded. And I'll stay to the outside and stay out of the way because, but yeah, it was like the crowds there were absolutely incredible.
Well, I was gonna say, were you in something flames in that? Was that the one you were wearing like a flames?
No, I did the Philly Marathon in the Flames jersey.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
And I'll be doing the Calgary Marathon this May, and
In the Oilers gear. What? Oh.
no, well, there's kind of I might end up in an Oilers jersey. So
Did you lose a bet?
I was not yet.
Oh.
And I don't plan on it. So I'm my personal best time for a marathon is in Edmonton.
Oh.
And it's full 3 hours 54 minutes 13 seconds.
In for 26 miles, 4 like less than 4 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Holy shit! What
So-
are the people that are running it doing it in? I don't know.
That 4 hour mark is kind of a magic. To get a sub 4 is a nice, kind of like when people, golfers break 100. That's kind of sort of. I mean, there's people that are obviously doing a lot quicker, but yeah, to get under 4 is nice. But
Wow.
so it doesn't sit well with me being a Flames fan to have my personal best up in
Yeah,
Edmonton.
It's not okay.
So this May, on the 25th, I'm going to do the Calgary Marathon, and I am doing everything in my power to make sure I smash out a personal best. And I do that in a Flames jersey. And then Kevin Carius, who's on
Oh, he was the was he the-
1140 Sports Radio up in.
sportscaster.
So I got to bet with him. If I don't smash out a personal best in Calgary, I got to go do the Edmonton Marathon in August. I got to do that in an Oilers jersey.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So
So you got someone. That's why you've been on the Stairmaster.
that's why I've been doing
I
the
seen the
Stairmaster.
video,
Yeah. Yeah.
So for Theater of Mind, so we're obviously videoing, but for anyone that's listening to this, when you're on the marathon, because you mentioned you got your foot.
Yeah.
So you're on your longboard,
Sitting on the
but,
board. and I
but you've got to
propel
push the whole way with your right leg.
My right leg. Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So you mentioned the stair machine. Stairs are actually the best workout I think that I can do for preparation. It good leg strength,
And you-
activates the core.
You
and it's
have
good
to go
cardio.
right leg first.
What's
Unless-
that?
From the videos I saw, it's all your right leg first. Like that's the only way you can do it.
Yeah, I've only
You
got
have
the right
to go
leg,
right
so
leg,
it's
yeah.
that's the workhorse. It's doing it all.
Yeah.
So you got to have your core, like that's when you're working out, it's core and
Yeah. So I'm not
Cardio.
in peak marathon condition right now, but I'll.
But it's
I'll-
winter. We're hibernating right now.
Yeah, it's my
It's
yeah.
cold up here.
So we talked about New York, we talked about Edmonton, Calgary Marathon, but you've done Philly. You were talking about Dublin.
Yeah, I've done.
Where have you all hit?
So Calgary, this Calgary Marathon will be my 20th.
Holy smokes.
I've done this will be my 4th time doing Calgary. Philly is my other home marathon. Philly is a great city.
Why Philly?
I was speaking at a school just across the river in Jersey, and a few years back, and then I went to Philly. Went to a couple Phillies games, and I boarded all the way up Broad Street, and I was downtown. Went to the Liberty Bell and Independence Hall, and then I went to the Rocky Stairs. Climbed up to the top of the Rocky Stairs, and I was sitting at the top, and I was looking out over downtown Philly. And I'm like, I bet you these guys have a epic marathon. So I literally emailed the marathon director from the top of the Rocky Steps, and I was like, hey, I'd love to come back and do the marathon. And she got back to me in like half an hour, 45
Really?
minutes. She goes, yep, love to have you. Here's a promo code, comp the race for you.
Oh wow.
And we'll have you speak at it. And she keeps inviting me back, and she's now the executive director of Run America.
Wow.
Oh wow.
And so that's inadvertently opened up some pretty cool opportunities.
I guess.
And yeah, it's just been, yeah. So Philly, Washington D.C., Modesto, California, Edmonton, obviously Calgary, Dublin, Belfast, Dubai, Kuala Lumpur, Reykjavik, Iceland, and Noosa, Australia. So I've done marathons in
that's
three of
amazing.
the 7 continents.
That's awesome.
No, 4 of the 7 continents.
You
What-
haven't done Africa yet.
No, I have not.
So what's
Not
on the
yet.
bucket list for marathons?
I mean, obviously,
Or Asia.
Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, and Malaysia.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, then that seems like most of them. Or South America. You haven't done
South America. I have not done a
Or
marathon
Africa.
there. There's a
4 of the 7 possible. There's probably not much in Antarctica.
there is a half in Antarctica.
Really?
That one would be a little more logistically difficult, but
Yeah. Holy.
I'm not opposed to exploring the possibilities of that one.
Very cool.
Be cool to cross Chicago, Boston. I mean, that's the mecca of marathons. I don't know. I'm just plucking away at them and
That's sweet.
having fun
Well,
doing it.
But I want
Sweet,
you to know that he's not just going there and running, because I went to Philly and you text me right away and you had like the best place to go drink beer and have a cheesesteak, I think, or something.
Yeah, I could tell you the best place for a cheesesteak, some good beer spots.
Yeah.
If you like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, there's some, Max Tavern is
Good spot.
Is
Yeah,
there.
you were giving me all the spots. to
And
hit.
then one thing I kind of got, well, I mean, Philly's a great sports city, as you know.
Yeah.
And one of the
Eagles
guys
won me
who's done
$1,200.
all the Philly marathons, he said, the neat thing about Philly is like they're so sports mad. And he says, all the marathon runners, you are part of the home team when you're doing that marathon. So,
Really? That's
and
neat.
I did the first one I did. I wore my hair was a little bit longer and curlier and shaggy, kind of like Bobby Clark's back in the day. And I wore a Bobby Clark shirt, and then I put like that stuff on my teeth to make it look like I was missing my teeth.
Missing a teeth, too.
Except it just looked like I was like a meth addict and my teeth were rotting out.
Oh, dear.
So I did the whole marathon like this. I didn't smile or nothing. And then I did the Flyers jersey the second year. And then just this last year I wore the Flames. And there was so many people on the sidelines and in the marathon. You looked a lot better in the Flyers jersey.
Well, I'd imagine now a lot of people remember you. I mean, recognize you year after year. So
Yeah.
they're probably
yeah.
cheering you on every time you go
No,
back.
and a lot of people that I've met at one marathon doing another, and to my knowledge, I'm the only guy without arms and legs doing marathons on a longboard. So
That's
Yeah.
I stand out.
And you did Dublin. We were talking about it before the show. You did Dublin dressed as a leprechaun.
Yeah, I did Dublin dressed as a leprechaun. I floated the idea, and so I was like, well, because we're in this world of hypersensitivity, and like, well, it could be offensive. I'm like, I don't get how me
How is that offensive?
dress up, and so they talked me out of it because I wanted to do it while carrying a box of Lucky Charms too, but they don't have Lucky Charms over there.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Really?
that's sad.
Oh,
But
that's
anyway,
sad.
disappointing.
so then I was downtown Dublin boarding around, and there
Hopefully
was a
drinking
souvenir
Guinness.
place, and they had like 5 or 6 leprechaun like
Costumes.
costumes. I'm like, screw it, I'm doing the leprechaun. That thing was so bloody hot.
It'd be straight polyester.
Oh
You're like wearing a sweatsuit.
Well, and then the hat sits up so high.
Yeah.
It was like a sail.
Oh yeah,
Except it
yeah.
was always a headwind. So, yeah, as soon as I crossed the finish line, I threw that thing in the garbage.
Oh, no.
Okay, I also want to touch on your Halloween
Halloween?
costume this year.
Yeah.
Since we're on the
Lieutenant Dan.
topic, he was Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah, I
I'm sorry, but I don't care who you are. That's funny.
yeah no I threatened to do Lieutenant Dan for quite a few years, and I finally did it. I love Forrest Gump. It's one of my favorite
Oh,
movies.
it's a great movie.
Most days I can slip in a Forrest Gump.
Joke.
Like my mom today, she's like, "Oh, there's a really good Vietnamese restaurant down by where we're going." I'm like, "They sending me to Vietnam. It's this whole other country." But yeah, I dressed up as Lieutenant Dan for my friend's work Halloween party, and then on actual Halloween, I was flying from Kelowna to Toronto. And I was actually, you'd mentioned like down days. That morning, I just was feeling a little bit off. I was in a bit of a funk. I didn't really know why.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love my job, and I look forward to traveling. I'm like, you know what? I'm wearing this Lieutenant Dan costume today. So I wore it on the plane. I got upgraded to the very front row. And I think there was a bunch of people, especially when I got to Toronto Airport, that didn't realize that it was a Halloween costume. They thought it was just some dirty hippie in the airport.
I think
so.
the photo I seen, you actually had like the girls from the show with you.
Oh yeah,
What's
so
the
that was at the
Christmas party?
that was at the party, and a couple of the girls that my friends work with, I got them to pose as Cunning Carla and Long Limbs Lenore.
Oh, gosh.
That was so good. I love that.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm glad that you joke around with it, though. Like, it just...
Life's too damn short to
Yeah.
not. And I you have to have a sense of ha-ha, and especially in our family. Like I said earlier, nothing is out of bounds. Well, you know Andrew Morkin,
Yeah.
so that's my cousin.
Oh, okay.
You can see the resemblance. We're very
Oh,
similar.
definitely. Yeah. You guys are
In
built
size
similar.
and
built
stature.
similar, yeah.
But yeah, we and you maybe have seen it, but we come up. We have a superhero tandem, Chubby and Stubby, and it kind of loosely off of, remember Handyman and the Tiny Avenger from In Living
no.
Color.
I don't think so.
Highly inappropriate now. It would get
Yeah.
canceled in
Oh,
5
wow.
seconds, but
Sounds like a good show.
yeah,
like
Chubby
that.
and Stubby.
and he's like a power lifter, doesn't he? Like
yeah, he's
powerlifting, or he
big-time
did?
powerlifter,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's got a competition coming up in Florida in March, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. No, in April, because I'm
April.
going to see if I can't sneak down.
Go
there.
sneak down. Terry Andrio has in their new clothing line they're doing. They built them a sweet like powerlifting get up all in the old school Dolphins colors.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's really cool. So what's on the speaking side of things? I mean, you've traveled all over the world. What's the best place you've been? Like what's the highlight when you sit down and think about where you've been, what you've done? Like what is up there on the mantle for places you've been or people you've been able to speak to?
Well, Nepal is my favorite country that I've traveled to, and I did presentations all throughout there to a bunch of disability organizations, groups.
Where were you in? Like, did you fly to like Kathmandu? Isn't that Nepal or is that?
Yeah,
That's
flew to Kathmandu.
right? That's the sketchiest airport. Speaking of all the plane crashes lately, that's the sketchiest one.
No,
isn't it?
the world's most dangerous airport is Lukla, and that's where you fly up to access
Oh,
Mount Everest and
it's
base
close
camp
to
and stuff.
Kathmandu.
And I deliberately flew into that. I love aviation,
You wanted to
so I
see it.
deliberately flew up to Lukla, the world's most dangerous airport.
What
To
got
say
you
you
into
did it?
To
What
say I
got
did
you
it.
into why are you fascinated with aviation?
I don't know, like just hurtling through the air,
It's
700 miles an hour
mind-boggling, isn't
in
it?
a tin can with wings.
Yeah.
What about the guy that pulled the e-brake in Toronto this week?
I mean
Ali's
Ali,
getting
it's
anxious
okay.
talking about.
that part of
fine.
aviation. I don't,
Just gets mad of
obviously,
it.
but that doesn't scare me. I mean, the people talk about how scary it is to fly. Like, oh, there's this
not
plane
about
crash and that
control,
plane
though.
crash. Like, yeah, but there was, how many thousands of planes that
That-
safely landed
It didn't
today.
crash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But am I got this wrong? Was your mom in aviation?
Yeah, my mom's a flight attendant.
Okay, yeah.
Still?
Trolley dolly. Yeah,
Charlie Dolly. What is
trolley
that?
dolly. Yeah.
Oh, a trolley dolly. Oh,
Yeah.
God. Okay.
She's been
Still?
with WestJet for a long time.
And she does it now?
She's still
Oh, really?
flight attendant.
She's been there for a while. She's on the Dreamliners then.
Yeah, she's
She's going
got
to Europe and
yeah, she does
Korea.
actually after I did the Belfast marathon, my mom was working the very first Dublin of the season. And so it was a 72-hour layover. So I went from Belfast down to Dublin and hung out with her. She'd
Yeah.
never been before, and that was my third time in Dublin. So
Oh, that's cool.
toured around and
Right
drank
on.
lots of Guinness.
right on.
Good post-marathon celebration.
So do you try and plan your flights around when
mom's
your
working?
mom's on the plane?
No. My mom does not want me on the same plane as her. She
Cause a scene.
she was up front with one of the girls that she works with, and I went up and I said, "What was that? What was that drink that I had when we first took off?" She's like, "It's called the WestJet Elevation drink." I was like, "That was a really good drink. I think I'll have another one of those." Like, okay. And so they go back to talking. And
6 more.
I said, "Now, please." And my mom goes to her friend Val. She goes, "I've always wanted to say this, sir. You can go back to your fucking seat and you'll get your drink when you get your drink."
Oh, man. Sorry, you got something else, Dustin? Or
No,
we-
no, go ahead. Go
No? Chris, first of all, do you need a drink of water or anything? Do we need to take a break? Or are you
No,
good?
I'm good. I'm good.
You're good. I just gotta dig a little deeper on the ups and downs side of it. I feel like there's more to the conversation there, and just I've talked to you mentioned Brett Gardner,
Yep.
and he talks on the mental health side of things, and
Yep.
like I'll be honest with everybody right now, like I haven't been my best self the last 2 months, right? Like I think I told you, Dustin, and I talked on the phone to somebody the other day, but like my dad died January 1st, and like there's been some stuff go on in the last 7 or 8 months, and I just haven't been as great as I could be, right? But I think about the days and the things that I do that help me be better or have a better outlook on things. Like today I went and spent some time at the gym, and I went to the steam room and went to the, went and did that and trying to look after myself. And like, I just wonder about those sorts of things, and I just curious because you like I feel like you are what your default is positive, where a lot of folks it's not. And I think that my default is positive, but I definitely have a tougher time in the wintertime. I don't do good in the really cold weather. I'm not. It hurt. It's really tough on me, and I know that, but I don't know what to do to fix it sometimes.
Yeah, I hate cold weather. I have very vital organs that are close to the frozen ground, so
Yeah.
I hate the winter. But joking aside, winter is the most challenging part of my life. Getting around
Yeah.
in the snow with that longboard. That's why I
And you
have
live
a place
here.
in Kelowna.
Yeah, you kind of have to.
Yeah. So coming here when I know there's snow on the ground, Say, oh man, I mean the upside. At least I have my brother and my nephews and nieces out here,
Close by.
and that's one of my go-tos. Go hang out with my brother. Maybe he's fencing up in the mountains. Go out there and spend the day, and literally at the end of the day, your stomach muscles and your cheek muscles are sore from laughing all day. And then you had said going to the gym and the steam room. That's a huge one. If I'm in a funk or in a rut, just getting on my board, and you get a mile or two in, and you get the blood flowing, you get the oxygen pumping to the brain, body moving. Everything that's happening doesn't go away, but at least you're thinking through it in a clear frame of mind. Things don't seem quite so insurmountable. So being active, and if I don't have, let's say it's snowing and I can't get out on my board, I mean that is annoying, it's frustrating, but just go into the stairwell and go up and down the stairs for 20 minutes or an hour or whatever it ends up being, or I've never had a gym membership until this year, and going and doing the stair machine is a huge one too, and it's just that fresh air. I mean, it's easy. It's really easy when you're in it, when you're in that funk, when you're just not feeling it, and you're trying to find reasons to put a smile on your face. It's really easy to just want to let the day pass by and not bother getting out of bed, but you have to. And for example, when I was living here, you wake up in the morning and there's 4 inches of fresh snow on the ground. You're like, well, my day just got a hell of a lot harder, a hell of a lot longer, and a hell of a lot more challenging. And you just want to crawl back into bed, and hopefully when you wake up, the Chinook is blown through and melted all the snow. But
Tomorrow.
life doesn't wait, so you got to figure out a way to. And I've found on a lot of the days when I've got myself over that hurdle and got out, and you run into somebody, and it's crazy how it happens. But I've run into people, and they're like, yeah, I just been going through a rough patch, and I saw you, ripping around on your board or slugging through the snow or whatever, and just like, man, I have a lot to be grateful for. Like, okay, well, I'm not gonna lie, I was in that same spot as you, thinking life was pretty shitty. So, yeah, thank you for that.
I was curious when we first met. I remember thinking and I think I remember asking you if you needed a special room when we were getting the hotel in Drum, and you hopped in my truck and whatever, you're just going about your business, and but in my head I'm like, I wonder what like the advancements in technology and like how things are hands free, or how's the changing world make it easier for you in certain things, or what are some things still to this day that are just a pain in your ass, that are just tough? I know you get through most things on your own, but is there like some little day-to-day things where it's always tough?
Yeah, I mean, height-related things, like checking into a hotel and the shower head is tilted off to the wall. But, the default is going to the closet. There's always a ironing board in the closet. You leave it folded up, use the ironing board to tip the shower head over to center, or pull the towel down off the rack or whatever. And I honestly don't use the technology as much as I should. I barely use voice texting or Siri and stuff like that.
I was going to say, you're always texting like yourself. Yeah.
So, and there are huge advancements in prosthetics, and a lot of that stuff you have to spend months getting used to it. And I'm getting along just fine, so I don't really feel the need to spend that time. And I'm busy enough. I don't really have enough time. There might be a day, but for now, I'm happy rocking the longboard, and I love pushing the longboard. Keeps me in shape, and I love when I'm, pushing my longboard and somebody's with 2 arms and 2 legs is riding an electric board.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
you
a wild
lazy
one.
tit.
Yeah. And imagine going to a hotel and a touchless key is, compared to like an old hotel that would have given you an actual key to unlock a door. That's probably something that's like
Yeah, or
bit of a game
the
changer.
ones, the key that you have to slide down and then back up.
Oh yeah.
Those ones are a challenge. So I'll push my board up to the door and wedge like my shoe or something underneath the wheels, and I'll hop hop up on one leg and stand up on one leg on the board
Cool.
and do that. Doesn't work so well after about the third or fourth beer. You're like, I'm just gonna swing by the front desk and be like, "Can you come up to the room with me and let me?"
Would you let me in my room?
Yeah. But
Dang.
yeah, it's just it's height related stuff, and yeah, for the brief moment that you let it get into your head that it's a big deal,
It's not.
in the grand scheme of things, could be a hell of a lot worse.
Yeah.
One more question, Dustin, or we got a couple? What else you got?
Yeah, I'm trying to think if we missed anything. We talked marathons, we talked motivational speaking, the farming. I guess before we do the last question, what's next for you? I mean, not even the coming weeks, coming years. Where do you see yourself in the next couple of years? Is it continuing to evolve the speaking? Is it more farming? What does it look like for you?
I mean, always want to be farming, helping out on the farm. Whether it's helping my brother with cows or, planting or harvesting, getting the opportunity to go see agriculture in different parts of the world. I would love to do a harvest down in Australia. I think that'd be pretty cool. On the marathon end of things, just keep smashing out marathons and keep, New York was a pretty big domino, and there's some pretty neat opportunities that I'm not allowed to talk about yet that are on the horizon, and partly I don't want to jinx them, but also I mean some pretty neat opportunities to get into that space, and then keep doing the presentations. And like I said, that's why I do these marathons. That's why I want to keep farming. That's why I want to keep traveling, is so I'm leading by example and not just talking a big talk and not talking about that one thing that I did 5, 10, 15 years ago. I'm talking about that marathon that I just did, the 2 marathons that I did this past November, and the next one coming up at the end of May.
So your content is always evolving,
yeah.
essentially, right? Your
Yeah.
message is always evolving because you are.
Yeah, no, exactly. So,
What's next? We talked about.
Talked about a lot of it. You're just wrapping it up. Sorry.
yeah, so I could just go the marathon stuff.
Yeah.
And then, well, like I was saying, just to be leading by example and adding the marathons, keep farming, keep doing presentations, and just basically, I just want to make as big of impact as possible. Whether it's, encouraging people who have thought they wanted to do a marathon to just get out and do a marathon, or opening up, and that's one of the things that Kathleen Titus, who's the race director in Philly, that really wants to concentrate on for this next year and the next Philly, is getting more adaptive athletes out there, and people who never thought physically a marathon to be an option to do something like that. And yeah, if able-bodied people think they couldn't run a marathon, and then the guy without arms and legs is doing it, yeah, you know what? Maybe I can do
I
it
can
too.
probably do
Well, I
that,
was gonna say you've run 20 more marathons than I've ran,
And me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
and so it is amazing to see you do it.
Well, I have a promo code for the Calgary Marathon, May
All right.
25th.
I'm busy. Sorry, I'm busy that day.
You know what's a sad story?
Is it a Saturday or
I
Sunday?
think, did we not walk through the Calgary Marathon last year, like going to get ice cream or something? I'm like, this seems. We like cut through as they're going past here, and we're like walking to get ice cream. I'm like, this feels wrong.
Get out of the way, asshole! Lay off me, I'm starving.
Pretty much, yeah. It was like over here was like the recovery area where everyone finished and they had like the tinfoil blankets. Do you do that?
You just
Yeah, you're licking my cone. yeah. Good job, guys. Yeah.
I think when Brandon that day. Is it a Saturday or Sunday?
this year
Is
they
it
have
Sunday?
Saturday and
Is
Sunday.
it the Mother's Day weekend?
But
No, end of May.
It's May 25th.
Okay. That's right. But if there's anyone out there listening that needs farmer for hire, do you just kind of
Hired gun?
hire gun? You
Hor-
horn you out?
Horn me out to local farmers.
Are you a farmer whore? Is that kind of how you roll now?
Well, I mean, I've been helping out Lowe's. So obviously, if they got enough guys, I'll see who else needs some help. But I try and block off time. And Lowe's have been pretty awesome, realizing that the speaking is my main gig. So, and I try to respect that and slow things down. And I'm not just taking off for any old presentation when we're planting or when we're harvesting. But I mean, like this last spring when we were planting, I had an opportunity to go speak in Australia. I was like, yeah, I can't say no to that.
Gotta
one.
go do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Free
Was
trip.
that when you were like flying around in like the guy's own plane and all that? I remember you
yeah,
telling me
that
about
was
that.
was pretty cool. So it was Pilatus was the company that had me down there to speak at Beef Week in Rockhampton, and
New South Wales.
uh, Peter and Jane Hughes invited me out to their station, and it was one of their smaller properties at 440,000 acres.
Holy shit.
17 townships.
Running about 28,000 head, and he's the world's largest Wagyu beef producers. He's got a couple properties up in the Northern Territories. One is 1 million acres, and the other one is 1.1 million acres.
Holy
And
shit.
picked me up in his own Pilatus aircraft and flew me out to Caldervale Station, and that was pretty cool. But yeah, Pilatus Aircraft, they're a Swiss aircraft manufacturer, and there's the Royal Flying Doctors in Australia, and then a lot of these big farmers and ranchers use Pilatus Aircraft.
Wow.
So all my flights that I had within Australia were private planes.
Holy
It was,
smokes.
it was,
You know how to roll.
it was,
Oh,
it was definitely not real life.
How'd you get hooked up with those guys?
I was speaking at the National Cattlemen's Convention in New Orleans, and this one guy I mentioned talking about doing a presentation I'd done in Cummins, Australia, and this guy comes beeline to the stage after I'm finished, and you could tell from a mile away that he's an Aussie. He's like, "Oh, you mentioned my town, mate." He said, "I'm from Cummins," and we get BS, and he's like, "We got to get you back down to Australia," and yeah, so.
There it was.
Yeah, and it's funny, you get a lot of people after a presentation. Yeah, I'd love to have come speak. And then there's some people who
Hire you right there.
what's that?
They hire you right then. They give you their.
And there's different people. There's some people who are like, damn well they're gonna do everything and they're gonna make it happen.
Yeah.
Like the guy on the plane is like, no, I am the people.
I'm the people. Yeah.
I am the people.
And then there's other people where like, okay, we'll keep in touch and hopefully they can make it happen. And then there's other people like,
You're full of shit.
I probably never gonna hear from them again.
Yeah.
And I have pretty good radar for sniffing that out. There's been some that have surprised me, but yeah, and I mean I think that's the pretty good litmus test on whether or not I've done a good presentation or not. Is if you got people coming saying, "Hey, we need you at our event," or you get 2 or 3 other speaking events from that one. So
Tells you how you did.
yeah, so that's how Australia came about, and that was pretty amazing trip.
That's cool.
Super cool.
Well, should we do our final question of the podcast?
I think we better.
This is the
Dustin.
very important question, Chris.
Yep.
Every guest on the podcast, we end with the last question of what their definition of cowboy shit is.
I would just say just getting what needs to be done, regardless of what's going on in life. Kind of to borrow from the line in the movie Shawshank Redemption, get busy living or get busy dying. There's going to be stuff in life that gets in the way. There's going to be a lot of outside variables and factors that are going to make life a hell of a lot more difficult than you really want it to be. But, you buck up and you get through it.
I like it. It's like putting a rock through the combine.
Yeah, call the mechanic.
Well, it's been awesome to have
Combine
you.
5 is
Yeah.
going to be parked for a bit.
It's been awesome to have you. Like I say, we've been chatting about getting you on the show, and like you say, a guy from Nanton and a small town, and you've kind of kept those roots strong in the farming and obviously the Western way of life and ranching and everything's a part of your life. But you're like a Swiss Army knife, from farming to speaking to sports to everything. It's been quite an adventure, hey?
Jack of a lot of trades and a master of none.
I like it, but it's
When-
been fun.
When's the book deal coming?
I don't have any arms, so I can't write.
You can write on your phone.
I-
You're talking about Tex and Dustin.
No, it's the best book title has already been taken by a guy who's got cerebral palsy, and the book title of his book is "If at Birth You Don't Succeed." So,
Oh, jeez.
and
Wow.
so I gotta come up with my book is not going to be a very serious one, and I'm sure some people want me to have like a very deep, thoughtful book, and
It would just be smart ass comments.
it'll
hey?
be a lot of humor. There will be some life lessons in it, but mostly humor.
What people want to find you? I love following your socials. Where can they find you on the interweb?
It's various iterations of Chris Cook, last name spelled Koch, and if I can.
Awesome.
Ifican.ca.
That's the
That's the
website. Yeah.
Canadian. That's the Canadian version, folks.
Yeah.
For all of our American listeners, ifican.ca.
And if you got a farm, you got a sports team, Chris is your guy.
Yeah.
He'll come
100%.
all the way to Cummins.
all the way to Cummins.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun having you here.
No, thank you.
It's been great.
Thanks for doing this.
And
Appreciate it.
where can people find you? This show will be out on March 5th. So where will people see you this spring? Marathons, speaking engagements. Where are you going to be in the next few weeks? here?
Calgary Marathon, March 5th. I'll just be getting back from
Chicago.
Muskegon, Michigan, and stopping off at Chicago to see that family, the little guy Owen. And I'll be kind of the last stretch. Well, not the last stretch. Yeah, end of May will be the marathon. And then be hopefully spending some time on the tractor.
Awesome.
Seeding time.
Well, we'll
Yeah.
look forward to catching up with you again and seeing what all the adventures are, and we'll get some games in at the Dome and
Absolutely.
we got to get him down there speaking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Motivate
Well, I
these
got-
flames.
I
here.
got the one other challenge. Aaron Ferguson, that's another buddy
Oh,
of mine.
Ferg, yeah.
Oh yeah,
He's been
Fergie.
wanting to get me in a barrel.
Oh gosh,
Yeah. So
could be some sweet tricks in the bullfighting arena.
What about getting him in the barrel at the Glen Keely?
I'd do that. I don't.
Those
well,
bulls are a little bigger. And
Hank would be
scary.
more than happy to
Hank will do it.
put me in there.
This sounds entertaining.
Yeah.
And
I
knowing
told-
Ferg, he'll make it happen.
oh,
He's
Ferg,
he's big in them fighting bulls right now, like
In actual Spain.
yeah, in Spain.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
original bullfighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
All right. Well,
Okay.
maybe that's our next content piece with Chris. Is
Yeah.
Chris goes in the barrel.
In the
There you
barrel.
go.
All right.
Wow.
Thanks for doing this, man.
All right. Thanks, Chris.